things that you've said are stimulating me, and it's making me think. Okay, so we were on Saturn earlier and how Saturn's important. You mentioned the word healing, and I couldn't stop thinking about Aquarius. Aquarius. So capricious, greed, wanting to be in charge, wanting to manifest, wanting to own on one element. On the other side, healing is the other side of Saturn. So the one side of Saturn is the knee. Yeah, the knee, the need to kneel. And the other side of Saturn is Aquarius, the heel, bringing into heel, being in step, and bringing the healing into the sphere. And we were talking about the sands. When I think of sands, I think of an hourglass. And I think of the sands of time. I think of the sands moving through the hourglass as a measurement of time in all times. Once again, Saturn, the healing, Aquarius, of the need, the knee of Saturn, and how these two, well, let me bring Gabriel back in. He seems to have fallen off. Why can't I get down there? What's going on? Give me 1 second. Oh, he fell off completely. Okay, well, he'll be back. So I see the Saturnian element of the knee. I see the heel. I see healing as one side of it. So here I'm getting a polarity forming in my mind about manifestation. Mani, the Manipura chakra, according to my system, relates to Saturn, that which builds. Saturn, the builder, that which builds through contraction, contracts into a space, contracts onto another thing onto that, contracts another thing onto that, contracts another thing onto that, and contracts it into a solid state, building. The Manipura is the gem that touches all things, aspects, relates to time. Once again, Mani, money. Time is money. We're reflecting it in our common language. So the money of time, the Saturnial contraction of the solar fire. And then we've got the Saturn being the black sun, mystical connection with the solar fire. Very interesting. So Manipura relates to the principle of rhythm, the lords of rhythm, as often spoken of in Hermetics. We're talking about those aspects of Saturn and Saturn's, those beings under Saturn's dominion. Once again, the sands of time. We keep coming back to Saturn. Whichever road we walk on, it seems to come back to Saturn. And Saturn obviously relates to control. Manifesting relates to Saturnial. And the word fest and pest, we touched on this earlier. So festering of a wound. The pest of manifesting is that we can become attached to the goals, and it can inspire greed, because the more we manifest, the more we tend to want to manifest. It's something in the human psyche. So it brings us back to this full circle, back to the original question asked by Indy. Well, not asked, but suggested in innuendo by what he said about what we choose to manifest. What's the difference between white magic, gray magic, and black magic? From my perspective, white magic is when you manifest nothing for yourself, selflessly. Black magic is when you selfishly, like a shellfish, greedily manifest for your own desires. Gray magic is when you move along the balance and the polarities of allowing some bit of shellfish into your proverbial diet, but balancing that with some shelfless. You can't be put on a shelf. You can't be made redundant, because and now we're looking at the past. as well. There was something, there was a word that came up that was said that triggered my etymological brain tickles for the past, for looking back into the egregores of time. So I will remember that. It's tricky to remember each thing that everybody says and like keep the structure in the brain and come back and remember every one of the things. But there's a lot of associations floating around the Saturnial element at the center, and how Saturn has got a reflection and a connection with the number 5, but also how Mercury has got a connection with the number 5. So what is the Saturnial Mercurial connection? There's something quite interesting in this, because Mercury represents information in form. Saturn represents contraction, and contraction is how form comes to be. So the inform of the form becomes the formation of contraction, which is what results in form. So I think there's a lot of like associated ideas revolving around the sands of the desert and the worm. Yes, time, the past. I remembered. So the worm, we were. So the lords of time coming from the past. When we were, we're looking to the future. When we will be, we're looking to the past. So when we were, with with the resonant frequencies of the mother in the womb, we were looking forward towards the path that will manifest. So there's something about being in the present, but the present becomes the past of the future that we're looking into in order to manifest. Being in the present, but the present becomes the past of the future that we're looking into. There's a very interesting concept here that relates to a particular alignment of Saturnial principles as the governing factor of time, that I think is the key to understanding the manifestational principle. And in it, we can understand there is also a resonant frequency that is talking to us about the polarities of need and heal. And heal, Aquarius, is when you are selfless. You are doing all the manifestation for the healing. But when you are coming to the need, it's like an addiction that's being fulfilled. It's a very interesting concept. Need relates to manifestational, what you need, physical. I need money, I need food, I need this, I need that, I need a house. But heal represents what you can produce on the spiritual. So we can manifest spiritual reality, or we can manifest phenomenal reality. I thought I'd throw that on the table. Where does this come into the sphere of manifestation? Manifesting for the self, or manifesting for selfless? Manifesting for the divine, or manifesting for the mundane?